pavilions, the restrooms, renovations. We really do appreciate everything that's done down there. And let everybody know June's been a very busy month at the park. On the 14th, we had Crown Castle used our park for their company picnic, and that was a great success. On June 21st, the parks had a Touch-a-Truck event where approximately 16 vehicles were there in our park for folks to just come hands-on and, you know, if you've never gotten on a big machine, the kids had a great time. So we appreciate everybody that participated, and we thank everyone that attended. The 22nd, about 300 bicycle riders from Sojourn for the Rails to Trail Conservancy spent the night camping in our park before continuing their journey the next day. They used our park as a stopping point, and they set up, you know, different tents and everything, and they slept there, and then they got up and biked more the next day. June 25th, we had our opportunity to use our new outdoor theater equipment that was purchased through the generous donation of Mrs. Cheka. We had the movie The Cruise in the park, and I think it was a success. Other things that have been going on in the park are Elite Basketball Camp has been going on in the months of June and July. Ken and Mac will be having tennis clinics in July and August. The scouts that were here will be using the park, of course, as they said, July 8th, 9th, and 10th. And upcoming events are our Parks Board meeting was changed to July 10th, and everyone is welcome to come. It's at 5:30 on Thursday. Our next movie in the park will be the Lego Movie on July 25th. Moving a little more forward, the Car Cruise is August 24th, and our next movie night is August 30th, and the movie is to be determined. We haven't selected yet. I did give the supervisors some pamphlets on picnic tables that we would like to look into. This year we would like to put 6 new picnic tables in Pavilion number 2, and we would also like to purchase 4 handicapped accessible tables. And we would like to put 1 in each pavilion at Cecil Park and 1 in the pavilion at Hendersonville Park. All of the tables, which I've provided you pictures of, they're all made of recycled materials, and they're all like weather resistant, and you know, there's no maintenance to them at all. So we expect that they'll last a long time. It would be expensive to purchase, but you know, I'm hoping that if we can, you know, look at how long they're going to last, that we can kind of see that as a good.
How many would you like, Kathy? Are they
6 or 4?
Well, six of the regular picnic tables. Now, the very top paper that I gave you, that is the most similar to what we have in the other pavilions here in Cecil Park. But I also gave you other examples that we could take the pricing from too.
And how many handicapped?
4.
4 handicapped.
1 for each pavilion at Cecil Park and 1 for the pavilion at Hendersonville Park.
You have a preference that the board is your board is recommending to us?
I really don't have a preference. If we want to go with something that's the most similar, that was the one that's on top, the green picnic table, elegant green picnic table, and they also have a matching handicapped accessible table. But I think any of them.
Well, there's a variation of a couple $100 on the pricing on them.
Correct.
And I just looked very quickly before the meeting started.
I did want to make a comment on them too. I was just out at Settlers Park this past weekend, and I noticed that they had some of these that you have on a third sheet with the metal frame. Mm-hmm. Now, what I noticed about them is several of them, they were taken apart and they were replacing just the wood onto the metal frame. It looks to me, if we consider buying something like this, that you would be able to replace either the plastic or the wood if it deteriorated rather easily and still use that frame for it. It's a solid metal frame.
Right, yeah, that's something to consider
How much
too.
was that?
Same price?
It's pretty close, pretty
And,
similar.
yeah, we're looking at the 8-foot tables,
I'd have to look at the price.
because I think what we have.
Right hand corner, I think. 8-foot tables?
Correct.
Yeah. So, one other comment I wanted to make too was the fact that we got a letter in our mailbox also from Crown Castle, and they commented on how well everything went, and I think that's a good point to bring out to not only the Parks Board but everyone, and they were very well satisfied with their day in the park they had.
Right, and I met 2 people from Crown Castle afterwards, and they thought that everything went very well, and that we had a beautiful park, and that's thanks to Parks and Rec.
That's
And
good.
Public Works too. Bill?
Yeah, I took a walk through right before the event started, and it was everything, it was really exciting, you know, everything that they
But
had.
I do have a problem with something else. Was it Sojourn, were those the bikers that were there? And I had complaints that day that they came in, they were supposed to be self-sufficient. They had 12 showers, and I understood that there were lines of people waiting to get into the showers. They immediately hooked up to our water and our electric. And I asked Dawn not to pay the bill until bills that come in, or I'm sorry, not to refund their security deposit until such time as we see what the pricing is on the bills. And Dawn, you know to forward a copy of the bills to me.
Yes.
I mean, you remember. But what I want to say is this. Just let me finish, Andy. I looked at what was paid out in the current billing period, but I don't know how that compares to when they were there and the prior months, and our bills were doubled from May to June. They were twice as high, the electric bill, the water bill. They were both twice as high, which should...
Well, it's probably being used.
They're being used more from May into June.
Okay, that's true, but I want to look at the last year, a year ago, for example. I only had what I was given, so I want to look to get an idea.
Did you look at the water bill? Do you know what we pay per 1,000 gallons of water?
I'm not...
$10. Now, the capacity on their shower truck,
Why is that? Because of the size of the meter?
no, that's all we pay. That's a standard bill. Pennsylvania American, if anybody looks on their water bill, you pay by 1,000 gallons, okay? 1,000 gallons you get for $10. So that's what the actual price is on it. Now, the holding tank that was on that shower truck is only 2,000 gallons. So even if they maxed it out that day, which I didn't hear them go and dump it or anything, so it would only be $20.
All right, well, whatever. And same with the electric, they immediately hooked up to the electric in the park. So I wanted to see what those were, and just not refund the money until we see what they are, as well as any other problems that could have occurred, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, it was something I didn't expect, but, you know, it was explained to me that was necessary, so I don't blame you. I think it's a good thing to look into. I don't know how much it is, though. So. Okay.
Kathy, I just wanted to ask you, whenever you look at the old style that we had over there, don't worry about trying to match what was there. That's 30 years ago, those were bought, and that's all they made back then.
Oh, yeah,
As
I
Andy
wasn't
said,
worried
just look at
about
the third
matching.
page, they're a lot more accessible when you get inside than the ones you showed on the third page, so.
I agree. I wanted to put the 2 that had the handicapped accessible ones on top, and then the single pages in the back. That's the only reason. I just want to show you what's most similar, and then, you know, give you other examples of what else there is to
Those
choose
are really
from.
30 years old?
No, I made about 15 myself.
When?
I was taking care of the park
Just when was that? I want to know how long they last.
10 years ago.
One other thing I'd like to mention too is, before we actually do the purchase of these, if you looked at the handicap tables out of Cross Creek at their pavilions, they're kind of interesting because they put the last table perpendicular to the other ones, and it rises up a little bit so that you have handicap on 3 sides of it basically, both sides and the back side. it's a little higher. It's something to maybe look into before we actually purchase them. If you get a chance to go down to Cross Creek, look at one of their pavilions.
Sure.
They do jump out at you. It seems like a nice design.
Okay.
I'd like to say something on this ride. This ride is go nationwide, will be written up in books that go nationwide. And to differ over $20, $30 for water, $50 for electric, I think that's nice. So these people on the internet, they put out a lot of publicity for our trail and the park. And I think to go over something, yeah, everybody use the park, use electricity, and we okayed them to use the stage and that, so I don't write on this. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate anything else?
No.
Okay, thanks. Okay, the next are the fire department reports. I see later on in there, we're going to discuss some of the things we went over to at the meeting, so we'll just go with the fire department reports right now.
Hello, Bill Cass, Chief 28. I did have some of those items, but they will be discussed. I'll try not to repeat myself. First of all, I would like to talk about Touch a Truck. We gave out 70 junior firefighter hats. We could have doubled it. We had a lot of smiling faces, a lot of happy kids. So from our perspective, it was great.